Hi guys, my name is Maddie. I'm a sophomore at Winona State, and I'm gonna share my testimony with you guys. Need a little grace, I've never done this before, very intimidating. So first off, I was raised in a family that taught me that the value of the Lord and other people should always be above myself. I grew up in a family that knew how to love me, but I was never very good at being loved or letting myself be loved. I always thought that I had to earn it. I thought I had to work for it. When I was 8 years old, I started volunteering at a summer camp. The summer camp folk out there, they know how this goes, but I volunteered at camp for about 6 years, and then I started working as a summer staff, and that's where I really just fell in love with the Lord, and I found a passion for loving other people and for serving people. I never found it very difficult to be a Christian growing up. I was raised in the church, and I was always surrounded by very godly people, so I always thought it was pretty easy. It didn't really get difficult until I hit high school, where I just started to find my worth in a lot of things that just weren't godly. I was an athlete, I loved sports, I worked hard in school, and I just became obsessed with labels and titles and accomplishments. And the titles that I worked hard for didn't only make me feel like I was recognized and valued, they made me really good at acting like someone that I wasn't. I would do whatever I needed to blend in with people, with whatever group I was around, and I would lean into my faith once in a while when it was expected of me on Sundays or Wednesday nights. But on the other days of the week, I had a lot of issues. I cussed, I gossiped, I lied, I struggled with pride and lust. But despite that, everyone around me still looked at me like I was perfect, like I was this little Christian girl that could do nothing wrong. And that's when the imposter syndrome set in, because I didn't feel like a Christian. I didn't feel close to the Lord. And that's when I started to run. I ran away from my emotions. I ran away from people's love. And running away from all of these feelings caused more hurt than I had ever felt before. They caused me to fall in love and just find my worth in unhealthy friendships that weren't Christ-centered. They drew me to people that weren't pouring into me. And because of that, I started to believe that my emotions were meaningless. All I wanted was to be better than everyone else. If you know me, you know I can be competitive, just once in a while, but I just was obsessed with being the best. And I thought that the most important thing was to look good and look better than everyone else. This is when I started to lean back into my church friends a little bit. All these girls that were younger than me, I relied on them. I hoped that they would save me and that they would save my relationship with Christ, but they couldn't because I wouldn't let them. And I figured at this point he'd probably given up on me. I first had an interaction with H2O my senior year of high school when I was invited to lead worship at a youth conference in Duluth called District Blitz. And it was during a random sound check on that Friday that Nikki walked up to me, and we were just talking about going to college in the fall, and she told me about this community in Winona. And it was at that conference that I just hit my breaking point. I was up on stage praising the Lord in front of all these people, but I could not feel more broken. I felt alone. I wanted to start over, and I just felt like I wasn't worth a relationship with Christ and that I lost my chance. I knew that I needed to find that little girl inside me again who just loved Jesus with everything she was, but I couldn't find her, and I wanted her back. When I tell you that interaction with Nikki that day was life-changing, I am not joking, because the community that was here waiting for me was exactly what the Lord knew that I needed. And the excitement to be a part of this community not only encouraged me to turn back towards Jesus, but it caused me to believe that there were people out there that wanted me for how I was. When I came to Winona, I had really high expectations. It was supposed to be a dream come true. But I realized that in the midst of trying to leave that girl from high school behind, I brought a lot of old habits with me. I continued to bottle my emotions. I lived in denial. I put on a smile in front of all of you guys because I wanted to please you, all these people that I looked up to. I wanted to be looked at as a joyful person that wasn't broken and had it all together. It wasn't until after fall retreat that I finally had a conversation with someone that was important to me. I expressed to them just the shame that I was feeling in my emotions and how angry I was at who I used to be. And I'll never forget what that person told me that night. They said, "Maddie, why do you think that you can be less broken than the rest of us?" And it was that night that I finally experienced a Christ-centered friendship. And that person poured into me my entire first year of college and continues to pour into me. They taught me how to allow myself to be loved, and they showed me the reward that comes from putting the Lord in the center of my whole life and not just my friendships. One of my favorite verses comes from Ecclesiastes 4, and it's along the lines of, 2 are better than 1. When one falls, the other can help them back up, but pity the one who falls and has no one to help them back up. I think that verse just epitomizes what it means to love others and to let them love you. When I was deciding what to say for tonight, I had it all written out, and I tried to focus on my accomplishments and highlight how great my life has been in Winona and just how I've excelled in the last few years. But I quickly realized that this isn't supposed to be about me, that this was supposed to be how the Lord is working in my heart. And I don't want to act like I've overcome these bad habits, because if you know me, you know I still struggle with a lot of these. I continue to bottle emotions. I don't like being vulnerable. I live in denial a lot of the time. But the difference between who I am now and who I was 2 years ago in high school are the people that I surround myself with. People that won't let me run, that'll sit me down and be like, we're talking about this right now. And that's the difference from who I am now to who I used to be. I realized that running doesn't solve anything. It didn't fix anything that I was feeling. But what I've learned through H2O is that this community loves me, and it loves every single one of you, and it'll continue to love you if you let it. So my encouragement to you guys is to just let us love you. Don't push yourself away. Don't run, because nothing's gonna go away if you do. And once you decide that you're gonna let these people love you, you'll be so grateful that you did. Thank you.